Hello everyone, welcome to Cheri Voyage. Today we're going to be going over the two new Tom Ford eyeshadow quads. I got the rose prism and the metallic denim, and I'm going to show you guys how to wear these looks wet and dry, and even how you take a dark color, such as the ones that are in metallic denim, and make them wearable for those of you who like something a little bit more subdued. And how do you take the wet shadow and make them really stand out on your eyes? We're going to go over that today. Let's go ahead and get into the swatches. I will do a look and then we will end with a review. Let's get started. Now there are so many ways that you can wear these palettes. The wet dry formula is what makes these palettes delicious. I love wet dry formulas because you can use them for washes across the lid by doing a dry brush and just putting it across the lid, wetting the brush to make it more intense and pigmented, or using an angled eyeliner brush and using them for your eyeliners. So there are many ways that you can wear this palette, and today I'm going to try to utilize all three, wet, dry, and liner, to show you guys what I mean. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and start off with the Rose Prism palette. I'll do it on this side, and then I will do the metallic denim on this side over here. I have my Art Everyday cup, which is my creative cup. I have a brush by Laura Mercier, the Camouflage Powder Brush. And for those of you guys who watch my channel, you'll see that I am piggybacking on the technique that I did for the Dior Birds of a Feather collection. All right, take a little of that on my damp brush, and I'm just going to pat it on. In this video, I'm going to try to be pretty quick because I want to show you guys just how easy these are to use. Because I know that this kind of technique might seem much more complicated than it actually is. All right, so first color down. Now you can just wear this out. Look at how simple and pretty that is. Really pops open the eye, gives it a little bit of dimension, grabs the color in the eye, and just kind of gives a polished look. So feel free to just wear that one color, which was this on the bottom, wet. All right, I'm going back in with my brush, wet it a bit, and then I took a paper towel to dampen it. I'm gonna go in now with this color here, and I'm gonna pop that right on the center. And what that does is it opens the eye up right in the center a bit, to give a bit of a lift, just create a really gorgeous effect. That way when we move our head around, it's grabbing light, giving some dimension here. All right, yet another way. You could stop here if you want and just do this. I'm going to take what's left on my brush of that same color, and I'm going to lightly, very lightly, because I don't want it to be like 1990s, you know, high beam on the brow. You guys know what I'm talking about if you were around in the 90s. It was a look. Okay, just a little bit there. Feel free to take still whatever's left on the brush from that color and go out on the outside of the cheek here to create a highlight effect. All right, so you can stop at this point, but let's keep going. Now say you are going out at night and you want to a little bit more of a sexy eye look. I wet my brush again, cleaned it off, and I'm gonna go in now with this champagne kind of gold. Looks like there's a little bit of peach pink in there too. When I wet it, it got a little pink peach tone to it. I'm gonna pop that right in the center, right on top of the last color we did. But now I'm really focusing just on the center. I want it to be really focused in just this little area here because it's kind of like I'm going dark, medium, light, kind of bringing it in this way. Ooh. Tell me that isn't just rawr, but like in the most chic, subtle way. Pretty, right? All right, taking that same exact color, going in now and just popping that a bit on the corner, very lightly, nothing too much. If you want, you can take a very light approach and just put a little bit on that upper area for nighttime. So what are we gonna do with this beautiful pink kind of mauvish tone? I'm going to grab a bit of that with my brush that is still wet. I have a little bit of this still left on there, so I'm gonna just mix those two here. Let's go ahead and do a very light application across the lower lash line to brighten the eye area. I love using these colors to make the eyes really stand out. In fact, if you look at red carpet makeup artistry, you'll usually see some sort of kind of bright effect on the waterline to make the eyes stand out on these actresses who are getting photographs taken. First look done. Really, really pretty. Those of you who like a polished, natural, very bright look around the eye, you will love this. This is really just a basic, universal, beautiful eye look. Now, everything that I just did, you can do the exact same thing with a brush that's dry. And keep in mind that if you do a dry technique, it is much more soft, more sheer, and more subtle. All right, let's get into metallic denim. So for metallic denim, there's a couple ways, obviously, you can wear this palette. You can take these out and just wear a really beautiful neutral day eye, and then wet this down here, or this one, and use it as your liner. So I'm gonna do that look right now to show you guys how you can take a palette like this and make it more minimal. I know when most people see this, they go, oh no, I can never wear that. That's just too dramatic, but not necessarily the case. Now, if you want dramatic, all you would do is do the technique I did on this eye, which is where you start with the darker color, put it on most of the lid, take the next color, pop it in the center, take the next color down, pop it again in the center, and then again, take this color and pop it in the very, very center, creating a dark, medium, light, extra light effect, and doing it the same way from lash line to brow, dark, medium, light, extra light. So just think of it as steps from darkest to lightest color. But since I already kind of did that on this eye, I'm gonna go ahead and do something more minimal. Plus, I want to show you guys specifically how you can wear this palette for those of you who don't wear bold colors. All right, let's get started. So I'm going to do a combination of wet, dry with this palette. I'm going to go ahead and start with my SONIA G Jumbo Blender brush. I'm going to grab this really pretty kind of taupe brown color. There's a little bit of gold too in it. And I'm just going to put this all over the lid here on the lower lid area. Bring it up lightly onto the brow bone, but I mostly focus that color on the lower lid area. Whatever's left over, I move up and lightly go back and forth. And look at my wrist. I'm not doing this because I would shear it out. I'm really staying nice and controlled. My wrist is just slightly going back and forth here like a windshield wiper. Okay, so great example once again of how you could wear this shadow It is just very light, but gives a nice brightening effect because it has a subtle shimmer to it, or shift, I should say, in color. Tom Ford, I really want to emphasize this. Tom Ford is one of the best of creating a sexy look on women with mature eyes. The formulation is really buttery and the micro shimmers are really finely milled. So if someone came to me and said, gosh, I would love to wear, colors that are, shimmer or glitter, but I can't do those. I always reach for Tom Ford because it's one of those palettes and formulations that you absolutely can. All right, so first color down. I like this because it kind of neutralized any discoloration in the lid and gave a little bit of depth without being too dark. I flip my brush over and I'm going to go ahead and grab this cream color here. I'm going to go right here on the top, lightly place that color down, and then work on each side, kind of meet it in the middle. All right, I'm going to take my same SONIA G jumbo brush, grab again that cream color, and I'm going to come out here and use it as my highlighter because it is a beautiful color for brightening that outer eye area around the cheekbone or the occipital bone. Just bring it around. Now I'm popping it down, then I'm working at an angle. You can go all the way up, and then I take the side of my brush and just kind of use it to blend like it was my finger, basically. Since I'm not going too bold, I'm going to take this same color and I'm just going to put it on that inner eye corner here. Now, if you want it to be more bold, all you do is wet it and it will really stand out. But doing a little bit more of the dry effect on this side. Take again a little bit of that color and I'm going to go right here and a little bit right here. Very, very lightly. I start in the middle and then I work out on each side, keeping it very, very light. Now, most of you who watch my channel know this. For those of you that don't, I want to go ahead and briefly mention that remember that light, which is this kind of light that we just put down, pushes things forward, whereas deeper colors push things back into space. So if you want to create like a deeper socket or more drama around the face or any hollow, you want it to look, more chiseled, you can use darker colors because it'll pull things back. And if you want to bring a feature forward, you're going to put light around those areas to make them stand out and get noticed. These two colors we used quite a bit on the face. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to mix these two colors together to use as my eyeliner. I'm going to use my favorite 266 brush by MAC. Best eyeliner brush, thin angle, love this. Cheri Voyage tip for you guys. Look inside your eyeshadow palettes that you don't maybe use all the colors in. Let's say there's a palette you really love, but you're like, oh, that color's way too dark or that color's too bright. And use it as your eyeliner. Now you can take that color and just use it as your eyeliner by itself, or if you want to make it a little bit more subdued, put a brown or black eyeliner or gray or even deep purple eyeliner on your eye, and then take the shadow, wet the brush, and stamp it across. It will give a bit of a pop to the eye without it looking too much. So I wet my brush here, and I am going in and loading the brush on each side, loading being that I am packing the pigment on to each side of the brush here, going back and forth. Now, if you want, you could just do the black color, which has a little bit of silver shimmer in it, but I want to create something with a little bit more dimension, so I mix the black with the blue together. I'll show you what that looks like here. Like a pretty slate blue with some depth because of that black in there. Now, for those of you that have hooded lids, aging lids, lids that are falling and kind of sagging on the lash line, what you want to do is still use a liner because it'll bring your eyes out. Instead of going on top, you'll just stamp it underneath your lashes, and that will make your lashes look longer and add some definition to the eye area. Now, what I love about this brush, once again, is because of the angle and how thin it is, you could just stamp that liner across in little sections. All right, I'm taking my brush here, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm just going to stamp it across. I want to make sure to show you guys who have a problem with liner, how you can lay liner down. Now, as you saw, I flipped my brush right now. So the tip is working on the outer edge right here, and then I turned it to have more control with that tip and go inward that way. So basically half the eye, you'll have the tip pointing this way, and then you'll turn the brush and have the tip pointing this way, or towards basically the bridge of the nose. And another reason why you do that is because that angle here, you can just stamp with that angle of the eye that moves in that direction. Now I'm going to flip the brush back and forth here. I'm going in the waterline on the lower lash line. And as always, I pack most of the color on the outside, even letting it drag down a bit below the waterline. And then as I start to move inward, I pull the brush a little bit more inside the eye in the waterline, and I go with a lighter hand here. So my application goes dark, medium to light. You guys catching the theme here on everything, that there's like these levels of color that I'm doing to enhance the eye shape or the eye color without it just being black, blue, cream. It's really about mixing the colors and blending them to create a look that feels a little bit more complex, but once you get used to it, you'll be really fast. All right, beauties, the metallic denim eyeshadow look. Pretty cool, right? Later on, I will do a look with this palette and I will do a full-on smoky eye, but it was really important today for me to show you guys how to wear a palette like this with these deep colors in a really natural way. So let's quickly go ahead and look at one look on its own. I'm gonna put my hand up here so you can see what I'm talking about. All right, my friends, questions, suggestions, you know what to do. Comment down below. All right, my beauties, we've hit the end of the video. If you guys want to support Cheri Voyage, you like what you're seeing here, or for that matter, for any content creator that you guys watch, all you need to do is be able to use those affiliate links down below, hit that like button, leave us a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. All right, everyone, thank you so much for watching. Always appreciated. And as always, take care of yourselves. Take care of each other, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, everyone.